Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I'm here for another Heart of the Swarm broadcast, and today I'm going to be doing a game with HTOMario and JazBas. JazBas is going to be the red Zerg player in the top right hand corner of the map. And for those of you guys who don't know who JazBas is, he is a Korean player. Well, I think he is actually considered a player from New Zealand with Korean heritage. So he is a, I don't know, if you live in America, you're called like a Korean American, and I guess if you live in New Zealand, you'd be called like a Korea Zealand? I have no idea, but I do know that JazBas is a very good player. I actually had the opportunity to meet him when I was in Australia last year, and he is super good. He's going to be the Zerg, as I said before, in the top right hand corner. He is in Grand Masters. And for those of you guys who are wondering, his name is actually JazBas because he likes jazz and he plays bass. So JazBas, there it is. His opponent is going to be in the barcode. He is actually HTOMario, who is a very good Grandmasters Terran player. Had the opportunity to cast a couple of his games already, and this should be a good one. I'm told it's an epic match, TvZ. So strap yourselves in. As always, if you guys have any good replays, feel free to send them in to me at HDreplays@gmail.com. I'm always accepting the best of the best, and make sure to leave a link and a description in the email. So, I will be going out to Vegas in a few days, guys, but before I do, I will be casting a couple more games. I'll be uploading as many as I can. I'll probably have a set or something for you guys while I'm out in Vegas as well. So, yeah, I'll go out there, lose a bunch of money, but I'll cast some games for you guys. That's all that matters. Hopefully I don't lose too much. I tend to have a bad gambling tendencies. Bad gambling, I guess it's because I'm Asian, and I guess it's because I'm in Vegas, but I don't know, the two never really add up together. But whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and that includes your money. So anyways, we do have some Raptorlings on the way here from JazBas. He actually, wow, he opened up with a really aggressive spawning pool on one base, and he does not have a hatchery. This is weird. Wow, usually most Zergs don't do this. This is pretty uncommon, but he is going to be opening up with some aggressive Zerglings, and against a CC first, which, yes, Mario is going for. This is very vulnerable to CC first, especially when you throw it on the low ground. And now, I like how JazBas sends two Zerglings up here to occupy the SCV, building the wall, and then the rest of the Zerglings to take out the command center. And Mario here saying, why is this terrible opening popular? And JazBas is basically confirming, well, this is the reason why. And he has taken out the CC at the front door. Wow. Now, Mario, I'm going to say Barcode, but Mario has to get a Marine out here. Otherwise, he is in a lot of trouble. He's got SCVs repairing the wall, though. And actually, if he brings one more SCV, he'll be okay. And in fact, he doesn't really need to worry about that anymore, because now he's got a Marine. Look at the micro, though, by JazBas. He brings the weakened Zerglings to the back. Hasn't lost a Zergling yet. Holy, micro is insane. And, I mean, he's just doing this in order to maximize the amount of time that the SCVs spend building the wall, or repairing the wall, if you will. So the builders here continuing to repair, and now Mario's saying, if I put the command center on the high ground, then you're totally screwed. And if he opens with any other strategy, no CC first, if he opens like Barracks Factory or anything else but a quick expo, then this opening, which I don't even know what it was, I didn't catch it in the beginning, but I'm assuming it was a sub 12 pool, then obviously this doesn't do any damage at all. But now Mario's calling JazBas bad, which I guess that would make JazBas bad. Yeah, so, but I do think that occasionally you do have to mix it up in order to keep your opponent honest, because this is the cold hard fact of StarCraft 2. You know, if you play the same way every single time, you become exploitable. Now, granted, this is probably just some match on the ladder that doesn't matter, but you do want to mix up your playstyle and vary it in order to make sure your opponents don't adapt. And so I like what JazBas has done, and I really like what Mario's doing here. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Mario is a Terran player that loves to mech. And a lot of players know that. Most players know that, in fact. And now he's going for double starport with double tech lab. So now, yeah, this is a variant of mech, because mech, when you think of mech, you think of mech on the ground. But now in Heart of the Swarm, mech in the air also shares the armor upgrade. So if Mario wants to go into ground mech later on in this game, he certainly can. He's not pigeonholed into just going sky units the entire game. But still, I do like how he's opening up with a bit of a variance here. He's kind of he's saying, well, hey, if you opened up with a sub 12 pull and you were aggressive like that, you know what? Let me return the favor here. I'm gonna go double starport, and I am going to go double Banshee. So yeah, take some of that, JazBas. It should be a very interesting game. I mean, we already had a kind of an electric start. Here comes the command center, a new command center to replace the fallen one. Do note that this Overlord is going to try to fly in, but it will not see the double starport. I mean, it got pretty close, but it will not see it. There is another Overlord up here to the north. Now, do note that Mario, HTOMario, is still on only one command center, so he, in a way, actually, this is almost kind of all-in-ish, because it's basically one base double starport. But when you look at it, he's also expanding as well. So it's kind of curious. I'm not too sure what his strategy here is. Obviously, he's hoping to do as much damage as possible with these Banshees. But if it doesn't work, if it fails, because right now we can see JazBas has Queens up. If this happens to fail, then how will Mario transition out of this? And he is double command centering, so he is going to try to expo out of the aggression, and so it's not an all-in, but it is going to be designed to make it look like you know, Mario is committed to this starport play, but in fact he is not. Very interesting here. JazBas, will he have spore crawlers up in time? He's got a bunch of spores coming, so he saw the Banshees on the way, and these are not going to do any damage at all. Unlikely that they'll get any drone kills. Maybe, no, they won't even get the spore crawlers here, because 4 queens are waiting there. So now Mario's saying, you're hacking too, huh? And JazBas says, nah, man, I saw it with the Overlord. Must have been this one over here, or one of the ones over here or something, or it was map hack. You know, just kidding. But yeah, here comes a bunch of Zerglings from JazBas, and the Widowmine was not brought down. That could have prevented all these Zerglings from getting into the natural expansion, but the wall was brought up, so it's unlikely these Zerglings will do too much damage. And I like how Mario's pulling them back into the Widowmine, and he does actually get rid of about half the Zerglings right there. More Banshees now coming out, and they will be able to clean up the Zergling threat at the front door. So very interesting, because the Zergling scouts here, I want to call it obviously a scout now because they didn't really do any damage, but the Zerglings, not only did they see more Banshees coming, but they did see a command center too. So from that, JazBas can say, you're not going all in, you're not on one base, you do have an expansion, so I do want to make sure that I saturate all 3 bases here, and don't get too crazy with anti-air defense, because you will be macroing behind this expansion. So I do like what JazBas did there with the Zerglings and the aggression, and you can see here he has got a really good lead, 53 drones over 35 SCVs, so it is quite substantial. But at the same time, Mario does have this macro CC, so he will be able to replenish his SCVs at a very quick rate, and you know, don't forget he's got meals as well. So this game is going to get heated up pretty soon here. We have 5 Banshees in the air from Mario. He is going to try to snipe out one of these extractors here to limit the gas production for the Zerg player, but 5 Queens coming out to defend against the 5 Banshees, and the Queens push the Banshees away. JazBas now giving a little bit of a needle back to Mario, and it's apparent now that these 2 players do not like each other. But that always makes for some interesting commentating, because you guys get my commentary, and you also get the players' real live chat commentary as well. So the drama builds, and this is going to be an interesting one. We do have the macro CC now coming out to plant down at the 3rd. So Mario is going for the next base. He has Banshees now coming out of the starport, and he is researching +1/+1. So one can only imagine here that he is going to start to add on some factories pretty soon, because you cannot win this game with Sky alone, not at this early stage of the game, especially with Zerglings, because Zerglings, you know, they don't really care how many air units you have. They will run over your base, and that's exactly what JazBas is doing here. He just ran over the command center, plopped down some creep as well, which was so smart. He brought the Overlord in once the command center lifted, just to further buy time for the CC to be delayed. You know, so far I really like the micro from JazBas. You know, he's shown that he has a lot of considerable thought process here going into this game, microing the Zerglings away from the wall, bringing the Overlord in when that command center was lifted. Creep tumors spreading pretty decent as well. At 13 minutes in, typically most Zerg players are towards close to the middle of the map, but it's been an aggressive game, so you cannot blame him. As far as Mario goes, I like what he's done with the double starport. I do, and he's actually erected a bunch of missile turrets too, so he's obviously thinking here there's going to be some mutas coming pretty soon. I mean, that's pretty smart, because when you see a lot of Zerglings, typically the follow-up to that is Mutalisks / Banelings, because the Zerg is not using his gas, and so yes, he's got to funnel his gas into something, and he was correct. There are Mutalisks on the map, so very, very wise here from... Oh, we heard a Widowmine there going down on a Mutalisk, and the pack as well taking some damage, but very, very smart from Mario, but he's got to claim that third expansion. He cannot just allow this Expo to be standing in the air without mining, and here comes the Mutalisk as well. These Mutalisks are gonna push this command center away from the main base, and oh wow, Mario is not bringing the CC back home. I feel like he could have saved it, but he is actually gonna just let it die. And actually a smart thing to do right now would be to land it and use the meals before that orbital command falls down, but he does not, and so Mario loses the orbital command without really ever getting any usage out of it. I'm surprised he didn't decide to pull the orbital back into his main base. Maybe he felt like he didn't want to expose his factories to Mutalisk firepower, so perhaps he was thinking about the safety of his factories more than the safety of his command center. And to be honest with you guys, he still has a macro CC. He rebuilt the macro, in fact, minutes ago, so he's looking all right here. 98 supply to 144. Actually, his supply isn't the greatest, I will admit, but he is going into mech mode right now. He's adding on the Hellbats. He's got the Thor on the way, more Thors on the way, in fact, and he's getting Corvid Reactor for his fleet of Ravens. So we're going to be seeing some Sky Terran mix in with some Ground Terran. And, I mean, it's a very interesting playstyle, but he is really low in supply right now. And here comes the Mutalisk, going to try to fly in, do a little bit of damage, but with the Thor there and the SCVs underneath repairing, unlikely that those Mutalisks will want to stick around. The Widowmine getting another Sentinel Missile shot, killing 12 units so far already. I think a lot of that was Zerglings and not, in fact, Mutalisks, but still doing some nice damage. Now we have Vipers being added in from JazBas, and you don't see Vipers very often against Terran. They're more likely used against Protoss and their Colossi, but when the Terran goes mech and they've got Thors, the Vipers are really, really nice to have. And I do like the decision here from JazBas. This is not the usual Terran versus Zerg. This is the mech style versus the ground Roach Hydra Viper style for Zerg. And usually when Terran goes mech, Roach Hydra Viper is a very good way to combat that. So I like what he's doing, and now we can see JazBas throwing down evolution chambers throughout the map. And the reason why the Zerg does this is so that they have outposts in order to reclaim energy for their Vipers, and evolution chambers are the building that costs the least and still provides the most amount of consummation for the Vipers. So I do like what JazBas is doing, as his creep tumorage has now reached the center of the map, and he is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. So he is surplusing quite a bit now, 3k plus in minerals, about 1k plus in gas, and you know, Mario isn't looking too good in terms of his surplus. He really needs to max out his army, but it's hard when he just now claimed the third base. He's trying to remake another macro CC right now as well. And I don't know how Mario is going to play this game out, but things are not looking too good for him. Considering, you know, he's only on 3 bases, and JazBas has the entirety of the map to the top right-hand corner. This is not looking too good at all, but we'll see how this plays out. Like I said, I was told this game is pretty epic, so looking forward to seeing what happens. That Hellbat almost killing off a Queen and a Creep Tumor, just showing how strong Hellbats truly are. They are going to be getting a nerf, as David Kim did say recently. Here comes the army from JazBas. A lot of Lings, Roaches, Hydras, Mutas. And this is a really well-rounded army, but mostly tier 1, tier 2 against a pretty strong tier 3 base army from Mario here. That's a lot of splash damage. So the one thing that Mario's got going for him is he's got a ton of splash here. And I'm not sure if this army wants to engage like this at the choke point, but it looks like JazBas is gonna bring, oh, a lot of secret missiles coming out, all of them dudding though except for one, and JazBas pulling out at the last minute. If he had waited just a few seconds longer, I think his entire army would have been eradicated by Seeker Missile fire. But JazBas able to pull out just in the nick of time. Now adding in Ultralisks, and Ultralisk can bear the brunt of the damage from Widow Mines and from Seeker Missiles. Typically not the most cost-effective way to fight Ultralisks is is by not using, you don't want to use, tanks or Widow Mines or Seeker Missiles. You want to use like Marauders in order to deal with Ultralisks. So yeah, this is nice for JazBas to start to add in some Ultras. Really like the decision. You can see he's also been using his Evolution Chambers to refuel his Vipers. A new command center is on the way. And if Mario can establish this 4th command center, he could get back into this game. He still has to fight the amazing surplus of JazBas. So that is 7k, 3k. That is a lot of money. That's like fighting a 200 supply Zerg army 3 times in a row, if not more. Very scary here for the Terran player. It looks like the Widow Mine's not really doing any damage at all. Here comes JazBas' army. More Seeker Missiles are coming out. All the Ultras were targeted, and a bunch of Seeker Missiles coming down, doing a lot of damage there. But it looks like JazBas doesn't care, dropping some great blinding clouds, and he has shut down those siege tanks. The Ultralisk trying to do damage here, but I think that with the way the Terran player is set up on the high ground and the siege tanks, he is going to be able to make a hold here. And JazBas loses his army one time. And like I said, if Mario can survive the continual surplus of minerals and gas that JazBas has, then Mario could get back into this game. I mean, all he has to do is win a couple more battles just like that, and right now there is definitely a scary thing happening. There are 8 Ultralisks on the way. That production tab is going crazy right now, and with 8 Ultralisks on the way, look at the creep tumorage on the map as well. I mean, it covers the entire center of the map. If you guys were curious as to how high level of a match this is, don't be curious any longer. This is very, very high level. Now we have a lot of Ultralisks joining the fray. They are max upgraded 5-3. Now earlier, the last battle, there weren't really that many Ultralisks. This time it's going to be really different, and I'm not sure if the thing is Mario has a lot of Ravens, and Ravens are pretty good because they don't take damage from Ultralisks. They can use their Secret Missiles, but there's a lot of Hydras down here as well. So it's really gonna come down to this battle. Once again though, JazBas has a lot more money in the bank than Mario does. Mario's gonna have to set up his army on the high ground at the choke points and use position to his advantage as the Ultralisks are gonna start to make their way forward. Will the Ravens use their Secret Missiles? A lot of blinding clouds coming down. Ravens using their Secret Missiles coming down, hitting some of the Hydras, but a lot of them pulling back onto the creep. Tons of Ultras going down here as they're taking just so much damage, and JazBas once again has to pull out. The Terran Metal Army survives. Incredible play right here so far. The stand from Mario, he's done it 3 times in a row now. I mean, it helps when he's got this many Ravens for sure, because he's dropping down the PDDs, which shut the Hydras down. He's dropping down the auto turrets, which assists dealing with the Ultralisks. And so far, I mean, yeah, his supply still hasn't caught up to JazBas just due to the bank, but I mean, Mario, if he continues to play a game like this, it's almost like you're watching him just hold off legions of Zerg forces. But the thing is, I don't know really, because JazBas has so many expansions. Look, he's claimed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got like 8 or so hatcheries, and he's going for more. He could certainly claim the ones in the bottom right hand corner, and even if he continues to ram his forces into the Terran army and loses that badly time and time again, it doesn't really matter if he has all the money on the map. And you're looking right now, JazBas has lost 18k in resources compared to 9k. He is going to come in with yet another round of Ultras and Hydras. This time he catches the Ravens though, then it's going to try to pull the Ultras and Hydras out of harm's way, but oh my god! A lot of Hydras taking damage there, and a ton of Vipers going down as well. Just showing how cost effective, I guess, the Terran Metal type of army style is. And so far it's working out pretty well for him. Do note the upgrades are at 3 for armor and 1 for ship weapons and 3 for vehicle ground. Max across the board except for Sky for the Zerg ground. So, yeah, this is just an amazing game so far of StarCraft 2. Very interesting because it's like, It's like watching a war of attrition, two maxed out armies, and now JazBas has got to be thinking a little bit, how do I defeat this army? Because every time I ram my forces in, I've lost time and time again, and it's getting harder and harder because there's more Thors, there's more Ravens here, there's more splash damage than there was before, and even if JazBas has all the hatcheries on the map, he still has to plan this accordingly. You know, improper decision making here can definitely end up costing him the game. Now, I did see him making a bunch of infestors, and infestors are certainly a good idea. If he can get some fungal growths down on the Terran army, when it's clumped up, that might be his keys to victory. Some neuroparasiting action might be in order as well. If JazBas can go ahead and get that research going at the infestation pit. He is also going for Spire. I don't know about Spire because there's so many Ravens here. You know, Corruptors and Broodlords can get taken out very quickly, but maybe if he can just add in a few Broodlords, a few Corruptors, and spread them out, that might be a good strategy. There's also a ton of SCVs down here ready to repair at any moment. Very interesting. One Hellbat going down to the bottom right-hand corner looking for some creep tumors to kill. Runs into a pair of queens and a lot more creep tumors than this Hellbat is equipped to designed to handle, but as long as he continues to comsat, he might be able to take it down. But anyways, we do have a big potential engagement going down here. The Widow Mines do get underground, and immediately JazBas decides, nah, I'm not really trying to run across this Widow Mine field, so he might want to bring in an Overseer, because that's a lot of splash damage back there, including the Ravens and their Seeker Missiles. So JazBas choosing to wait in the background. We do have Drilling Claws now on the way. That was an upgrade that was missing from the Terran army. Here we go, though. It looks like both armies going to collide. Fungal growth does come down. A lot of Seeker Missile trajectories are coming down here, and here comes the Seeker Missiles detonating across the Zerg horde. And I don't think JazBas has enough to win this fight. He once again has to pull back. He is trying to use his infestors to fungal. He might be able to get rid of the Raven fleet here. Very nice chain fungals on the Ravens, and a lot of Ravens going down. In fact, all the Ravens going down. And perhaps that was JazBas's plan, to take out those Ravens, because now without Ravens, this Thor army is extremely vulnerable. We do have a ton of Roaches and Ultras on the way, but dare I say, JazBas could just go with mass crackling right now to surround and engage these Thors. I'm actually surprised that Mario is pushing this deeply in. He too has to be concerned with the possibility of getting surrounded by a Zerg army at any moment, and here comes the reinforcements. I don't know why he decided to stick around here. Perhaps he wants to lose these swords, because I do see him adding on double starport. No, JazBas is going to GG? No, he's not. Just a troll GG. I was just gonna say, why would he GG when he takes out the Terran army? But I guess he's saying GG for the Terran player, for Mario. And I'm actually really surprised that Mario decided to stay in the middle of the map with all of his stores. I don't think that was the right decision, unless he was planning to replenish with battle cruisers. And I did see him adding on double starport, but I still don't think, even if he was trying to remake battle cruisers, there's no reason to lose all of his stores like that. Might have been a mistake, and it's going to be a costly one, because JazBas is thinking about making a counterattack. But wow, look at the planetary fortress wall set up here at the third. Do note, even though this is going to be really well fortified, the Terran is actually only mining off of one base now. So Mario really needs to think about grabbing a couple more bases here, maybe liberating this from the creep and claiming it for his own, because the longer this goes on, the more money that JazBas is going to stockpile, and the worser it gets for the Terran player. I do see a lot of Widow Mines in production right now. We can see that the Terran ground army has been remaxed on Thors and Mines. Worked for him last time, but he doesn't really have that many Ravens in his army to complement the ground troops, so he'll definitely want to add in some more Ravens like before. And I guess Mario's strategy here is to just hold out and I guess play this kind of war of attrition and hope that his Terran metal can survive the Sauron Zerg playing from JazBas here. Here comes a bunch of Widow Mines. They're gonna all try to get underground. With Drilling Claws, they can get underground in only 1 second, and it looks like JazBas is deciding to pull out of there instead of stick around. Probably the right decision, although most of the mines did use their payload. There was reinforcements waiting in the background, so JazBas there, an interesting defense by Mario. When the Zerg forces are coming at your ramp, bring all your mines expensive than just plant them underground. But it did actually work pretty well for him. And here comes JazBas thinking about making an attack down to this expansion here. And he is going to bring in all of his Hydras and Ultras and Vipers. Will he use Blinding Cloud? Blinding Cloud shutting down the Thors on the ramp. Very nice job there. But all the Widow Mines getting underground. And oh my god, brutal mineage. And the Roaches and Hydras once again forced to pull out. JazBas cannot defeat this metal army at the choke points. That's the bottom line. If he's going to win this game, he has to win it in the open field, like he did in the last big battle when he actually won his first victory. You have to win in the open field against a Terran player who's playing this much AoE firepower. You cannot hope to win at the confines, and right now with the victories that Mario has been able to mount up, he's now saying, alright, I'm gonna go for an expansion. And this is not what JazBas wants to allow Mario, because really, if JazBas had continued to play the game he had been playing, he could have starved out the Terran player. The Terran was only mining off of one base, so if he lets Mario gets this base, I mean, this is gonna open up the whole ballpark, and I think JazBas knows that. He cannot let this command center land down. In fact, yeah, if it goes down there, this Terran army is really going to be in a, you know, they're gonna open a whole can of whoop ass on the Zerg, and I think JazBas knows that. He's coming in here. He's got to be careful though. So many mines underground, and they are burrowing at 1 second. Here comes a bunch of blinding clouds. The mines just taking out the Hydras, though. Terrible disaster for JazBas, and the Ravens are on cleanup duty now. Secret missiles coming down, and the Hydra's obliterated. Oh my god, the play from HTOMario and his metal style is ripping through JazBas. One Thor actually sent up to the top, taking out a hatchery on his own, and now is going to annihilate the drones with 3-3. I don't think these drones are ever going to be able to kill off this Thor. So Thor is going to build up quite a bit of kills here. These Roaches should actually assist, and there we go. So the Roaches do come to the drone's aid. But yeah, wow, what a game by HTOMario. And really, it was a game of waiting. He just played this kind of disciplined style. I'm gonna wait for the right moment to strike. And he just waited until the moment was right, and he pushed out. He took an expansion, he killed off a hatchery, and he's annihilated the Zerg forces like 4 or 5 times in a row now. You can see the resources lost drastically favoring HTOMario. He's lost about half the number that JazBas has lost. So just an incredible game. If you guys are ever wondering, I guess, how to play Terran Metal, perhaps this is the way. Widow Mines and Thors to victory, and add in some Ravens, and you've got an unstoppable army against Zerg. So, what the hell is JazBas gonna do now? He's actually gone into Mass Broodlord. Not a bad idea. Broodlord Roach. The Broodlords are actually really good against Widow Mines. They aren't affected by them, and it's very hard for Terrans to get their Widow Mines underneath Broodlords, even with Drilling Claws. Typically, the Broodlings prevent the Widow Mines from getting close to the Broodlord. So this will be interesting. The Zerg still has almost all the hatcheries on the map though, so JazBas has a lot of money to play with. And it looks like now both armies are thinking about engaging in the middle at some point. We do have 2 lone Thors going around the bottom right here, thinking about taking out a hatchery or 2. Very nice decision making from HTOMario, and this is just obviously designed to limit the number of bases that JazBas has. And here comes JazBas with his Broodlords, trying to use all the Sentinel missiles by launching out his Broodlings. Very smart play here, but the Ravens come in and a bunch of secret missiles. Those Broodlords have got to pull out of harm's way, but the Broodlords ended up pulling over the Infestors, and now a GG coming out from HTOMario. Wow, both of these guys are at each other's throats, and I think JazBas might be sweating a little bit now. He's got to be thinking, how the hell do I stop this Terran army? It's unstoppable. The Widow Mines, the secret missiles, the Thors. What is the answer? And he still hasn't figured it out yet. And I mean, honestly, I cannot blame him. The amount of splash damage here is almost unreal. It's very hard to deal with this. Perhaps JazBas has to think about surrounding this army in the open field from multiple angles. I don't think he can just go head on. I think he's got to go for the swarm type surround. That will limit the amount of AoE firepower that HTOMario can use, and that might be his way to stopping this army. Right now, it looks like HTOMario is taking out the 6 o'clock expansion, I don't really think JazBas needs to care about that. I think he should just go and take out this planetary fortress up here. The entirety of the Terran army right now is occupied in the southern portion of the map, and really JazBas doesn't need to worry about that. He needs to go up here and take out this planetary fortress, and I think he knows he should be going in right now. He's going for the wrong one, though. This is probably not the best idea because honestly there's no mining to be had here. Maybe JazBas doesn't realize it though. That Hydra, poor Hydra, is going to take out a bunch of his buddies as well, or at least do damage to them. And JazBas now coming in, he will take out the planetary fortresses, but this allows time for Mario to pull back with his entire army to defend the real location, which is up here at this area. Meanwhile, New Hatchery being plopped down as these two Thors continue on their rampage across the map. And now JazBas has to defend here, but oh my god, he's just getting surrounded by all these Widow Mines and Thors. Even SCV's coming in to fight as well, and it looks like JazBas cannot do anything about it. He's going to lose all of his infestors, unfortunately. And wow, Mario just eradicates the Zerg army again. Now the two Thors going up to the 12 o'clock and continuing to take out hatcheries left and right. JazBas has let this game slip out of his grasp. He is now out of money and out of gas, and all of a sudden, the entire scope of this game has been flipped on its head. It's been completely reversed. The Terran now in control. I cannot believe it. I don't know how you do it, but I don't know how he did it, but he just completely flipped this game on its head. Beautiful play by the Terran HTOMario. Really good play. He was able to hold off the Zerg onslaught by 5 or 6 times and just slowly, patiently waited for his opening, and now this game is totally in his control. I don't know how JazBas is going to be able to get back into it. It's already been shown that JazBas doesn't know what the right composition is in order to deal with this type of Terran army. And honestly, I don't even know. What do you do against an army like this? Cracklings aren't going to work. Roach Hydra Viper hasn't worked. Brute Lord hasn't really worked. And like I said, maybe it just comes down to being able to surround. I think it's all about position. You gotta surround this Terran army from all sides. You cannot engage at the chokes, and you cannot engage head on. You gotta come and flank it. I think JazBas has one last shot here to redeem himself, to get back in this game, to take back control from HTOMario. Right now, both players are out of money and out of gas, but they all have close to maxed out armies. If JazBas can win this next fight, we'll see. Can he do it? He's coming in with all of his ultras, hydras, infestors. He gets a pretty good fungal growth. He needs to get another fungal. He does get a great fungal on the Ravens, but the Ravens are launching their seeker missiles, and the roaches and hydras all in retreat. All that Thor taking so much damage, or that ultra is taking so much damage, and JazBas has to once again pull away. Now the thing is, those Ravens are out of energy, and a lot of the Sentinel missiles have been used, so maybe JazBas can go in one more time. He's got to be careful though, and once again he just doesn't have the firepower. He has to pull back. Oh, what a sad game. What a sad day for Zerg versus Terran to see this game, and really just a complete iron heel, the annihilation of Zerg by the Terran Metal Army. And really, HTOMario just laughing about this game, I'm sure, because he knows that JazBas thought that he had this game under control. JazBas still gonna go in here though. He has a lot of cracklings coming in. This could be it. Some drones also trying to Maynard away from the disaster occurring in the bottom right hand corner. And will JazBas have enough to clean this up? He does take out the Terran ground army, but does he have enough to clean up the Ravens? I don't think so. These Ravens can get out of here now, especially with all the PDDs getting dropped down. Wow, what an engagement by JazBas. He was able to take out the entire Terran ground army, so not a bad job. Meanwhile, the Thor still taking out hatcheries in the bottom right hand corner. I think JazBas right there, that was like his second best engagement of the entire game. Really, being able to take out the Terran ground army, that was like his second best fight of the entire game, but now he's expended so much of his resources. He's only down to 77 supply. How in the world is he going to be able to catch up with HTOMario, who is mining out of a base up here in the top left, and it's also muling like crazy out of the base down here in the bottom at the 6 o'clock. Ravens coming in, replenishing their energy, dropping down more seeker missiles. The roaches and hydras have nowhere to go, and they, I think, are going to go down to the Hellbats, the Ravens, and their auto turrets. not much really that JazBas can do. I think he has to forfeit the game now for real. He might actually have to type out a real sincere GG, because look at the mulage occurring at this expansion. 3,500 minerals being made per minute compared to only 1,000 for JazBas. Oh man, what a sad game for JazBas. And you know, I noticed at one point a lot of his hatcheries in the bottom right hand corner were actually not even mining. He might have made a mistake by not mainarding his drones down to the vacant hatcheries at the middle point of this game, around 25-30 minutes in, to really saturate all of the expansions and make sure he surpluses a massive bank. Granted, he did have a pretty good surplus this game, but apparently it was not enough to take out the Terran known as HTOMario. With all these sky units and all these metal units, the Zerg just crumbling before it. And yeah, it looks like Mario is going to fortify this expansion, no problem. He's at 153 supply to 72 now, and I think at this point this is pretty much all but done, short of JazBas pulling out a miracle. He's just out of money. He's actually short on drones too. He's only got 32 drones left. Let's see how many workers were killed this game. 62 workers in total compared to 40 something for JazBas. And yeah, what a game. What a game. It's 49 minutes in now, and looks like JazBas is going to be able to take out a couple of these auto turrets, but this Hellbat Raven army now, it's like the most cost-efficient type of army you can possibly imagine. It is not going to die to roaches and hydras. And you can see now that the Terran is maxed out at 200 supply. JazBas only at a measly 83. I will give him credit for staying in this game and trying to hold on, but I think at some point you've got to just say, well, that's the end of it. That's pretty much all I can muster. I can't possibly try to beat this Terran army, but you know, he is staying in the game right now. It looks like the Terran is bringing out a bunch of SCVs. He's going to try to repair this Terran army wherever repairs are needed. And yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and forward it at this point, because this is pretty much over. I don't see any reason, any way how JazBas can win this game. So, yep, forwarding through. I'm waiting to see if there is an official sincere GG from JazBas. I don't think there ever will be. Welcome to the jungle, baby, says HTOMario. GG, well played. Manner up, says JazBas. So, there it is. Victory for the Terran player. Very prolonged game, 53 minutes long. A couple of reasons for that. Obviously, the Zerg just had all the bases on the map. But I have got to give credit for HTOMario and his metal playstyle. He was able to stand toe-to-toe with JazBas at the points when it seemed like things were bleakest, when he had to fight up against JazBas's insane surplus. He was able to do it time and time again. So what is the answer to dealing with a Terran metal army like this? I do think JazBas shouldn't have engaged at the choke points. He should have played more of a, you know, all right, I'll let you have your 3 or 4 bases. I'll wait in the middle of the map. Eventually you have to push out. And when you push out, I will surround you and swarm you in the middle of the fields. And I think that's what JazBas should have done. That was probably his mistake and his reason for losing the game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed 50-minute plus Terran versus Zerg. And I've got more games coming out for you guys. This is HD, signing out.